Good afternoon. We're here with James from Ignite Marketing. And if you'd just like to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do and for how long, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, happy to. So, I've been running Ignite Marketing now for just coming up to about 7 years. So in the last 7 years, I've essentially been working with entrepreneurs who run local businesses. So they're people who they maybe have a brick and mortar store, or they provide services locally in their area, and they're looking at ways of really trying to get more customers from the area they cover through online marketing. So there's a tendency sometimes to think of online marketing as you're going out to the world, big reach, big numbers, and you can certainly do that with it. But the people I'm working with, they really still want to get the people on the doorstep. They want to get those local customers, but they're not trying to do it through the traditional channels anymore. They're looking at being a bit more competitive and using basically the tools they have at their disposal online to do that.
Nice and targeted marketing, it sounds like, at a local level.
Yeah, exactly that. That's exactly right. I mean, the problem these businesses have is generally they just don't have the time to figure it out. There's so many options with online marketing. It's just having a clue where to start. But that's really where I come in. So I give them a really basic 3-step plan that we've created. It shows them how, in as little as 9 weeks, they can take the website and the online marketing they've already got. So they're not necessarily having to start from scratch. And they can take that and turn it into a system that they can rely on to actually have a flow of leads coming into the business. So it gives them a little bit of structure and sort of some certainty really around finding those customers.
Brilliant. Sounds good. So you mentioned 7 years you've been in business. There was something called COVID-19 that happened and lasted a couple of years. What would you say the biggest impact of COVID had for you on your business?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very fortunate in that the business I was running was probably as well equipped for COVID, I think, as a business could be. So the company is essentially myself. So no team of employees, no offices that had to sort of be navigated that whole situation. I saw some of my clients having a really tough time with that. So I was well prepared from that perspective. Maybe a little bit too smug because, a few months in, much like everyone else, it kind of hit home what was really going on. And for me, I think the really big thing was just that interaction with people. So everything went completely online for me. I was doing all my calls over Zoom, and then delivering the services for my clients from my home and from my computer. So that whole isolation piece that I think everybody felt, I mean, it was unavoidable and really noticeable. And I think a lot of people probably experienced that as well. Yeah.
So from that, did you sort of maintain any actions sort of post-pandemic in terms of how you adapted and that you've kept them within the business? Obviously Zoom calls, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Zoom calls have stuck. I think there's some stuff that people sort of changed in their businesses. Mm-hmm. And now we're on the other side of the worst of COVID. I think things to some extent have maybe gone back to how they were, but there's certainly some things that have stuck. The Zoom calls is a big one. A lot of clients now, they've been doing Zoom, they're happy to do Zoom. So I'm kind of, I'm trapped on these Zoom calls still, but where possible, I will try and get out and I'll meet these people in person and I'll still have a coffee and a lunch. I think the big one for me has been just kind of building a bit more of a community around the work that I do. So something that's stuck is kind of working with other business owners in small groups, almost in like peer groups. So just having conversations and meeting regularly with other business owners, just to talk about shared experiences of what's going on in the business. I started doing that a lot online during the pandemic, and that's now stuck. That's something I really enjoy in the business, and just having the support of other business owners has been brilliant. So I think that's here to stay. A good change to come out of it, definitely.
Yeah, it's something that we're big on as well in terms of being able to have that conversation and support network. It's pretty powerful when others come together and can share their views and experiences and pick up advantages and points to take away. I think everyone's got some input to add somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is the power of the peer groups, isn't it? It's even if you're with people from completely different businesses, completely different life experiences, when you get into these conversations and you get to know them, you realize you're all you've all got certain things in common, and you're all experiencing sort of the same things.
Sure.
I think that's the beauty of them, definitely.
Yeah, cool. So what does the future look like for you, and what do you see the main challenges are going forward for the business?
I mean, in terms of the industry I'm in, it's the number one challenge, which is shaping the future of my business and the marketing that my clients do, is the pace of change in the industry. So marketing online now looks different to what it looked like just 3 months ago, never mind 3 years ago. And that pace is not slowing down. So it's a constant progression, whether it's the way people are using the internet to buy products and services, or whether it's the software and the tools you're using to actually run your marketing. You have to keep up with that. And it's a challenge, a fun challenge for me as a business owner, because obviously I have to keep on top of this for my clients. But I think also for small businesses, it really does present a really significant challenge, because they have to navigate that space and somehow find a way to keep pace with it, without the luxury of being able to just dedicate all their time just to the marketing in the business.
Big challenge, the amount of information that's available these days. And
it is,
as you say, if you can help your clients to kind of decipher that by keeping on top of it yourself, it's a winner. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and it's that's the whole sort of way we position the services we offer to clients. It's the 80-20 principle. It's kind of, there's so much we can do. We're not going to be able to do everything that's available to us in terms of online marketing. So let's look as a local business, what's those 20% of sort of actions you can take with your online marketing that are going to give you the lion's share, the 80% of results in terms of growing the business. And if you just do those, you're so much further ahead than a lot of the other businesses are going to be. You don't have to perfect it and do everything. It's just getting those fundamental pieces nailed down.
Pareto's law, I think, is it? The 80-20 rule.
Yeah, I'll go with that. If you're saying
something like that, yeah. So if we were to, I'm going to say, if you could share your biggest learning as a business owner so far to date, what would that be?
Yeah, so it's a really good one, that. I think what I've realized in the last few years is that it's the biggest thing in your business is yourself. So, I mean, I didn't come up with this. I've read it in a book somewhere. I can't remember the book, but
most people pick things up and run with them themselves, you know.
But it was an eye-opener for me, this one, because I think for the first few years of running the business, I was obsessed over the parts of the business, all the pieces you're trying to build in the business, and thinking, what can I improve or optimize next to make the business work better? And all overlooked me personally, in terms of how I was managing my own time, how I was kind of managing my mindset and outlook on the business, and the goals I was setting for myself in the business. I think that's probably the biggest thing I've learned, is that really you are the biggest asset in the business as the owner, but you're also the biggest liability. So if you're not keeping check on yourself, you're potentially holding back. Try as you might with everything else in the business, you're potentially holding everything else back and limiting yourself. And yeah, I mean, knowing that is a different thing to doing something about it, but I like to think, at least now I'm aware of that, it's a learning I can use to work on and kind of make progress in the company by working on my own mindset and my own sort of way I view the business and the work I do.
It's a good viewpoint to have, again, for sort of us as a business, and helping people with that. That's massive, because fundamentally the mindset and the individual driving the business forward, that's key to get that switched on. Cool. So if we were to go back in time and you were going to meet an 18-year-old self, what advice would you give James at 18?
There'd be so much advice. stop what you're doing now. No, I think if I had to boil it down to one piece of advice, I think you've got to I think you've just got to remember to follow the things that you have interest in. So when I think back to myself when I was 18, didn't have a clue what I wanted to do in terms of education, or if I wanted to go to university or get a job. The only thing I was really kind of that grabbed my attention at the time was playing around with the internet and websites, which at the time people were kind of like, why do I need a website? What's a website going to do for us? But it was something that really grabbed my attention, my curiosity, and I enjoyed doing it. And I steered away from that. And I did go to university, and I got a series of jobs working in sales, marketing, project management, IT. And then eventually, after sort of 15 years in the wilderness, looped back around to launching a web design business. So the thing I was doing when I was 16, 17, 18 years old. And I love the work I do now, and I love it in the same way that I loved it back then. So I think if I could give advice to any 18-year-old, it'd just be find that thing that you really enjoy doing and just don't let that thing go. Because even if you can't see how it'll make money, I think these days with the creator economy and the way you can monetize things online and build businesses, you can turn almost anything, probably anything, into a viable business. You can do it yourself on your own, from home on a computer. So that's the key. Find the thing you're interested in and run with it, stick with it.
I love that advice. Very good advice. So finally, if there's anything in terms of latest news or offers, or just sort of information about your business that you'd like to share and let people know about, feel free.
Yeah, so the business Ignite Marketing. So you can find out everything about me and the business at ignitemarketing.co. So that's just .co. And if you head over to ignitemarketing.co/quiz, there's a really fast free assessment local business owners can take on there. So it takes a few minutes. It will give them a rating of how well their online marketing, as it is at the moment, is performing in terms of being a lead generation tool to help them find those local customers they need to grow the business. And in the report they get, which is completely free of charge, they'll have some action points on there, things they can just dive in and start doing sort of today, and start making improvements to that system, and hopefully start finding more of those customers and building a better business.
Fantastic, worth checking out. I might have a little check it out myself as well, and have a little look over there. Superb. Thanks, James. Well, that's everything, and really appreciate time. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Bye now.